Hello and welcome back to your second video for the spine. This one is going to be, someone had asked me about yoga for scoliosis. So, because there are many different types of scoliosis, I'm obviously not a doctor. Definitely talk to your doctor before you do any of these exercises if you have severe or moderate or any, issues. But because I don't know what kind of scoliosis you have, I decided to do a video for the spine to help strengthen the core and that does not have any back bends or twist, which can be dangerous for scoliosis, depending on what kind you have. So we're just going to keep it no back bends, no twist in this video. And we're going to start with breathing. If you have scoliosis, you know that it can affect your breathing often. One side is generally shortened. So we're going to just start very simple. Comfortable seat, however you can, if you want to lift your hips up. And I actually recommend, if you have towels, blankets, anything like that, grab a couple for your practice, 2 of them at least. And lift your hips up. We're going to be sitting here for a minute doing some breathing exercises. So if it feels comfortable to lift your hips, please do that. You can sit on a block or whatever you have handy. Find a place where you can lengthen through the spine as much as possible. Crown of the head is lifting towards the ceiling, and we're going to do something called 3-part breath. So to start 3-part breath, we're going to take an inhale, exhale all your air out. Now, as you breathe, I'm going to cue you to breathe into your different parts of your torso. Obviously, you can't breathe into some of those areas, but I want that to be your intention. I want you to feel those areas filling up like they're filling up with air. So to start, all your air, exhale out. Inhale. As you inhale, think about the belly expanding with air. You're breathing deep into your lungs. So big inhale. Fill your belly. If you want, you can place your hands on your belly. Feel the fingertips, the palms, the hands rise. And then exhale all that out. The second part, this time we're going to inhale, fill the belly with air. And then you're going to start breathing into your lower ribs. And feel your lower ribs expand. And then exhale all that out. And then the final is you're going to inhale, you're going to fill the belly, the lower ribs, and finally you're going to fill the chest with air. So very deep inhale, filling up your entire, the intention, the thought is filling your entire torso with air. So on your big inhale, make sure all your air is out. Inhale, filling the belly with air, the lower ribs, and then the chest. You feel the chest rise, the pectoral muscles may be stretching, and then exhale everything out. Now you're going to put all of that together into one breath, beginning the belly like we just did, belly, lower ribs, upper, and then you're going to exhale everything out. Do that at least 10 to 15 times depending on your breath rate. And I'm going to do it with you. So make sure you're comfortable, make sure your shoulders are dropping away, and make sure your crown is lengthening towards the ceiling. Make sure you're very comfortable on your sits bones or however you're sitting. And then when you're ready, I'll breathe with you. Exhale. And then start your 3-part breath. Inhale into your belly, lower ribs, upper ribs, chest area filling with air. Exhale everything out. Again, inhale, filling the belly with air. Exhale. I'll fill your lower ribs with air. Keep inhaling. I'm so sorry. Inhale, upper. Exhale everything out. This is making me really relaxed. Keep going with your breath, inhaling and exhaling. And if it helps, you can place a hand on your belly, a hand on your heart, and just feel them rising and falling. Filling up all sides of the body with air. Exhale out. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Inhale. Filling the belly, the lower ribs, the chest. Exhale everything out. Do a few more breaths with your breath rate. Exhaling everything out. Inhaling, filling up with air. As you exhale, everything contracts, gets smaller. Breathing, especially focusing on all sides of our ribs. A couple more, just 2 or 3 more. And then on your final exhale, maybe sighing it out. And then we're going to do some scapular movements so we can strengthen the muscles in our scapula, which may be not as strong on one side or the other. So some of the things I am going to recommend as we do these movements, there's a couple in particular that I think will be really helpful if you have scoliosis. If you have much of a curve, your convex side is your side that, so if you have the C, you have the convex side is the outer curve of the C, the concave is the inner curve. So side plank is going to be one of our most important poses, and I highly suggest when we come into that pose, do both sides obviously, and then maybe pause the video, come back to the side where your convex side is if you know, and do it again on that side, the convex side towards the floor. So from here, I'm going to move my blanket aside. You can pad your knees with the blanket if it feels better. We're going to come to our tabletop position. So if you want to place it under your knees for padding, you are so welcome to do that. So we're not going to come into cat-cow here. We're not going to do any back bends. If you want to stretch up and do a little bit of a cat stretch, you sure can. But mostly we're going to be looking for our neutral spine. So when you're in your tabletop, you want to stack your bones as much as possible. Crown of the head is reaching forward, the tailbone is reaching towards the back of the mat. You're pressing the earth away and you're pressing into the fleshy part of between your index finger and your thumb to help with any wrist pain, okay? So you're in your tabletop, you're pressing into the tops of your feet. You may feel a little activation in your belly. That's good. We want that. And then to get a little more activation in our belly, we can come into a hovering table one of 2 ways. You can press into the tops of your feet, really keep pressing the earth away and lift your knees. Or if it feels better for you and you have feet that are able, you can curl your toes and press away that way, really activating your core muscles, breathing through it, whichever variation you are in. Take a few deep breaths. trying to keep that neutral spine as much as possible. One more breath. I know you've got this. You've got this. Exhale, release. Perfect. We're going to sit back on our heels now, and we're going to, you can either curl your toes and walk your fingers up and sit on your heels, or you can come on the tops of your feet and sit back, whichever feels more comfortable for you. Again, it depends on your feet. And then we'll just take a couple wrist stretches. So take your arms forward, make a fist, and point your knuckles and your fist down. And if you want to open your fist and stretch your fingers out, you can. Perfect. Stretch your fingers up. As you're reaching out, really spread your shoulder blades. You can take your fingers down. If you want to add a little extra and take that right hand and stretch to the left side and then gently pull on the back of the hand, you can switch. And then whenever you're ready, we're going to come back to our tabletop. So coming back to that stacked position, finding your neutral spine. And then from here, we're going to come into a little bit more core work. So I'll give you some options as we go through this. We're going to start making sure everything is stacked, pressing the earth away from you. Slide your right toes out behind you. If you want, you can lift those toes. Keep the toes dialing towards the ground. If you want a little more, you can take that left arm out behind you. Keep pressing into the earth, press the earth away. Or you can be here with the toes on the ground. Or you can be here with your hand and your toes on the ground. It's just wherever you want to be today, wherever you feel that you can hold the position and still keep a full breath. Keeping that neutral spine. You might feel a little shake. In yoga, we call that prana. That's our energy. Life force. Exhale, release whatever position you're in. If you want to take a minute, you can sit back, maybe rock back and forth a little bit, kind of stretching through the shoulders, coming back to our tabletop. Same thing on the other side. So whichever variation you did, it might be different on this side. So find whichever one works for you. Start simple. Start with the left toe sliding out behind you, making sure your spine is in neutral position, pressing the earth away, pressing the top of the, or you can have the toes curled, foot into the mat. And then if you want to lift, and then you can come with the right arm out, like you're going to shake someone's hand. Keep pressing into the earth. Strengthen that core. Reaching through those right fingers, reaching through the left heel. Whichever variation you're in. Breathe. Exhale, release. Amazing job. Sit back, stretching through a little bit. Maybe find a rock on the feet, the toes if it feels good. And then when you're ready, coming back to your tabletop, curl your back toes under, walk your hands a little bit forward. We're going to lift our tail, come up, downward facing dog. Pressing your heart space back, lifting your tailbone. Crown of the head drops. You can pedal your feet if it feels good. And then whenever you're ready, take a slow walk up to meet your hands. And we will meet in a forward fold. So you can have your feet hip width apart. I suggest hip width apart here. It just feels a lot, to me it feels a lot better. So find your forward fold and just let your body hang. You can clasp opposite elbows. If it feels comfortable to rock back and forth, you can. Bend your knees as much as you need. Sorry if I hit the mic. Breathe. Breathe deep into your belly. See if you can maintain that deep, full breath throughout each movement, throughout each pose. If you can't maintain a deep, full breath, back off a little bit until you can. Okay, when you're ready, we're going to halfway lift your version. You guys know you can have fingertips on the ground, shins, upper thighs, or you can take airplane arms. Really reach through the crown of the head, making a figure 7 shape. Really reaching, drawing our navels in. Cores are activated. Couple more breaths. Exhale, release to your fold. Inhale, come up into your mountain pose. So find your mountain pose. And if you want, you can take a real gentle side bend here. Keeping both sides of the torso long, you can just reach up and slightly over to the right with the right hand, to the left with the right hand. Inhale back to center, exhale, slight opening here. Only go as deep as you feel comfortable. You don't need to go crazy deep. I feel a good stretch right here. Inhale back to center. This time, just find a nice tall mountain pose. Reach the crown of your head towards the ceiling. Feel your bones stacked all the way up. Head over heart, heart over pelvis, pelvis over heels. Shoulders away from our ears. Take a 5 deep belly breaths. One more big deep breath. When you're ready, inhale, arms can come up. Exhale, fold all the way back down. You're going to plant your palms. And from here, we're going to step our right toes back, step your left toes back. Find your plank position. Press the earth away from you. Spike your heels towards the back of your mat. Hips are lifted here. They're not dipping. And we're going to hold here for a few breaths. You've got this. Breathe deep. If it's easier for you, you can come to half plank on your knees. Just breathe. Find where you can press the earth away from you. Feel strong in your plank or your half plank. You might find a rock back and forth, side to side, if you can do that safely and comfortably. One more big breath. Exhale, drop your knees, tabletop position. Sit your hips back on your heels. Maybe find that rock here. Try not to let your back bend too much. Nice stretch. Coming back up to your tabletop. Pressing the earth away. Slide your right toes out again. Inhale, you can lift. Exhale, draw that knee towards your nose. We're going to step it up and find a low lunge. So we don't have to come into this deep lunge here. You can keep that left knee walked pretty far in for this. We're going to carefully and slowly bring our hands to our thighs and come up into a nice low lunge. Drawing back in that right hip crease, pressing the top of that back foot into the ground or the toes. Right heel pressing into the ground. Everything's drawing in and together. And we're just drawing deep breaths in here. Find your deep breath. Lower body is pressing into the mat and working hard. Upper body is lifting, expanding with our breath. One more big breath. Exhale it all out. Inhale, you can bring your fingertips back down. And then when you're ready, slowly slide those toes back. Find your tabletop again. And then when you're ready from here, slide your left toes out. As you're ready, you can give them a lift. Exhale, draw the knee towards your nose, step it up. And start to find your version of your low lunge here. Slowly bringing your hands to your thighs, lifting up, drawing the left hip crease back. Breathing deep. Head over heart, heart over pelvis. I'm going to say that a whole bunch. Pressing that lower body into the earth. Breathing into all sides of the torso. You can feel those side ribs expand and contract as well. One more big deep breath. Coming back down to our fingertips, slide your left toes back to tabletop, and then when you're ready, we're going to come back into that plank position. Slide your right toes back, slide your left toes back. We're going to hold for a couple breaths. Spike your heels, press the earth away from you. Reach the crown of your head forward. Think about one long line from tailbone to the crown of your head. And then when you're ready, see if you can lower down with control. And then we're going to, I gotta move my mic back, roll over onto our side. Nice and gentle. Your feet don't have to be stacked here. They can be one in front of the other. We're gonna come into our side plank from here. So press your left elbow into the mat. And then you're going to press the elbow into the mat, press away from the earth. Press into your feet, lift your hips. You can bring your right hand to your ribs. You can stack your legs. Lift, lift, lift your hips. And then breathe here. As long as you can. You got this. Keep lifting your hips. Find whatever position works best for you with the feet, that you can be stable and breathe. Exhale, lower down. I won't keep you there forever. Now you can roll back to your belly and just roll onto your other side. I, however, am going to switch sides so I can stay facing you. Okay, onto your side. If you just rolled over, press into your right elbow, pressing the earth away from you. You can stagger your feet if it's easier. And then when you're ready, lift your hips up. Side plank. Keep lifting your hips. Breathing deep. You'll have one side that's a lot easier than the other. And this is the one, whichever side, if you know which side has the C, you want the, after we do this one, take one more big breath. Exhale, lower. If you know which side is convex on you, pause the video here and come back to the side that has that and do the side plank one more time if you have time. And then from there, we're going to roll back onto our bellies, press up into plank. Lower your knees on an exhale. I'm going to turn back this way. Big toes together, knees wide, sink your hips back. Walk your palms forward. Head and chest come towards the mat for extended child's pose. And this one, really, really, really feel the skin, the muscles, all around your torso stretching and contracting. If it's comfortable for you to do so, you can walk your hands to one side. Only if it's safe and comfortable. That's up to you. Breathing deep into the, if you walked your hands left, breathe deep into that right side body. Walk your hands to the other side. Take 3 more deep breaths on the other side. Or if you're just in extended child's pose in the center, stay there, keep breathing. Coming back to center, lifting up to tabletop, walk your knees in. We're going to come to a seat. And then take your legs out long in front of you. And keep lifting up through the spine, coming onto your sits bones. Legs out long, bend your knees as much as you need. You can place your hand on the ground here, your hands on the mat here. Back by your hips, shoulder blades coming together, shoulders away from our ears, staff pose. Looks easy, body should be working pretty hard here. Pressing into the mat, toes are activated towards our forehead. Exhale, release. Now we're going to come into a forward fold. So depending on how you feel, or if you're able, try this forward fold. Bend your knees generously. Inhale, take your arms up. Exhale, fold, hinge at the hips, keep your spine long. And then you can come here, straightening the legs as you need, keeping the spine long here. If it's comfortable for you and you are able, you can drop the crown of your head down, or you can just be here. Either way is fine. Inhale, coming back up. Bend your knees, bring your feet flat to the mat. We are going to come all the way to our backs. Now, I rolled onto my mic pack. Okay, so from here we're going to do a couple bridges, and then I have a couple options for you for Shavasana. So come onto your back, walk your shoulder blades under your heart space and down. You want your feet hip width apart. You can walk them close to your heels if you want. They can be a little further out, whatever feels best. Pressing your heels into the mat, your big toe mounds into the mat to keep our knees from flaying out. Unless you have a block, you can certainly place a block between your knees and squeeze it to keep your knees from coming out. Or you can just press into your big toe mound if you don't have a block. When you are ready, we're not going to come into a really deep bridge here. It's going to be a really gentle, soft bridge. So when you're ready, pressing into the heels, the big toe mounds, inhale, roll up from your tailbone, lifting slowly the hips, the pelvis, rolling up through each vertebra very slowly. And just come where you feel a nice stretch in your quads, maybe a little bit in your belly. We don't want to come too high up. Exhale, roll it down really slow, if you can. 2 more of those. Inhale, coming up slowly. Exhale, rolling it down. Inhale, rolling up. And if this isn't for you, if you're not able to do bridge for whatever reason, just lie on your mat and enjoy the time to lying on your mat. Okay, bringing yourself all the way down. Now we have a couple options for Shavasana from here. Just take your legs out long. Let the mat support you, and you can find your Shavasana this way. Continue that deep breathing. Or, again, if you know what side of your spine has the convex side, the side that has the curve, the outer curve. So say it was on the right side, I would place maybe a blanket where that curve is, and another blanket between my knees. Or a towel, if you have a towel. And you can come into side lying Shavasana. So the blanket is here. You can place it under the convex side if you know which side. You can take your arm up overhead. You can take one arm out long that way. You can just lay like this. Just find whatever works best for you. Find a place where you can just release and relax into your mat. And hell, even if you don't know what side is convex or whatever, you can still use the 2 blankets and do side lying Shavasana and just use one of them as a pillow. So find where you can relax into the mat. Breathing deep. Letting the mat support you. And again, if you know what kind and what kind of scoliosis you have, you might practice that side plank whenever you have a second. It's such a fun posture. I just don't want to leave you there all day though. And deep breathing, that's key too. Letting yourself relax into the mat, breathing deep. Just letting go. Taking a moment. You deserve it. It is always an honor to have you join me on the mat. I will see you next class. Thank you.